As 2022 winds down and we begin to look back on the best and the worst movies had to offer, let's not forget the great year of television we just had. Today, I'm giving you my top 10 best TV shows of 2022. Welcome back, television fans. 'Tis the season of end of year lists. And like with any lists, this isn't just about my opinion. The fun part is the debate that starts with you in the comment section as you give me your top 10 best television shows of the year. Because with TV, it requires so much time investment, we might miss this great show here and there. So the shows I'm going to give you is just the 10 best shows I've seen. Because obviously, I haven't seen every show this year. You haven't seen every show this year, so we might find some hidden gems with each other's helps. And of course, this channel will be chock full with top 10s, best and worst lists, rankings. So if you enjoy that type of content, you definitely want to stay tuned. So without any further ado, let's get started with number 10. Peacemaker kicks us off, a show that has absolutely no right in working as well as it does. As much as I love The Suicide Squad, John Cena in this role, and James Gunn, it boggled my mind, the decision of centering a series behind this character. But James Gunn cracked the code and manages to tell a compelling story about this broken person living with his sins and the resentment that he holds against himself, all the while delivering the classic debauchery and raunchiness of a James Gunn humor, while at the same time including his trademark heart. He is able to craft a story that brings together a group of broken people with this thematic of found family surrounding them. All these characters, they manage to poke fun at each other, to hurt each other with their words and actions. And by the end, while he's delivering an alien invasion action spectacle with a ton of blood and gore and all that dirtiness that we enjoy, there is real emotion behind these characters because he took his time in constructing them and their relationships. He manages to tell a story about a man who has father issues and finally stands up to that father only to get more traumatized over his actions and choosing sides. That's a compelling character. That's a compelling story. I cannot wait for season 2. However, the real reason Peacemaker makes the list is because it gave us the greatest opening sequence to a television show ever. Number 9 is Barry, Season 3. I actually watched the first season of Barry when it originally came out before it really exploded in popularity, but eventually, for some reason, I just dropped it off. So this past summer, I decided to catch up from the beginning, and this is simply put one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. So much drama and humor, perfectly balanced, where you feel the weight of stakes, you feel real tension, but one tone never compromises the other. It's this beautiful blend and marriage that just seems to represent the chaos of life. And Bill Hader not only gives a flawless performance, his directing just gets better and better. He literally directs every episode in the season. He obviously writes the show, and he just seems to understand this character to such an intimate level. It's actually frightening, leading to one of the best cliffhangers in the history of any TV show I have ever seen. It just rips your heart out. And all the while, he also manages to give you an excellent action scene. Like, just give this dude any movie. He would be amazing as a Fantastic Four director or really an Oscar caliber drama next year. I just want to see him, whether in front or behind the camera. I'll be excited for more Bill Hader. And that is in big thanks to Barry Season 3. 1899 lands at number 8, a mind trip of a show that is so engaging to watch as this mystery that constantly delivers satisfying payoff at the end of each episode after sprinkling in crumbs of hints and suggestion that are vague enough for you to theorize and engage with the story, where every character has this tinge of mystery, where you begin to understand them, but you're not sure if that's the real them. Everyone does a great job. The performances are all great, where you can really understand the emotions of each person, even if you're not looking at the subtitles, because this is a collection of international actors. And naturally, you're not going to understand all those languages literally, but the crafting of the story truly breaks those walls and really sends you in directions that you could not see coming. It has this sense of macabre, it has this constant sense of thrills that puts you at the edge of your seat. And I think, while I didn't quite love this one so far, these are all shows that I really like, but didn't quite love for some nitpicks here and there, just didn't quite get to the great status. This is a show that I can see, like Dark, becoming even better in context with future seasons. Netflix hasn't officially greenlit this one for a second season, as far as I'm aware. But from the creators of Dark, you can just imagine how the universe of this show will grow and where the story threads can go. There's limitless possibilities for this, and I am fully on board this ship. Limitless is our number 7, and if you're at all familiar with me, it is shocking to have a docu-series on any top 10 of mine. But this show is just up my alley. It combines my two passions: filmmaking, where you have Darren Aronofsky behind the camera, executive producing, and even directing, and you have one of my favorite movie stars in Chris Hemsworth exploring his own personal physical and emotional limits, and fitness. I am very much into fitness whenever I'm not editing or recording YouTube videos, so to just see how they dive into the science of these tests, of these challenges, and what they can provide to a person on a long term. It explores not just how it affects Chris, the training he has to endure to surpass, or at least attempt to surpass, these challenges. It dives into all these cultures and other people like you and me throughout the world that already apply these sort of physical challenges to some degree in their day-to-day lives. It shows the benefits of it, it shows the cons of it when it comes to employing these certain mindsets into your day-to-day life, and it really explains why it's important to try and live a better life, but a longer life, to really rip those benefits when the time comes. It also gets quite existential and personal in the last few episodes. We dive into Chris's personal life and learn that he has a 80% higher chance of becoming a victim of Alzheimer's later in his life. And this show just by then becomes much more important. There's not a lot of practicality when it comes to applying those lessons from the last few episodes into your own life, but it takes this different approach that I appreciated because it made everything work on such a deeper level. And I'm already employing a ton of these lessons into my own life, so it's a show that completely satisfied me. Bad Sisters is our number 6. This is a show I have been begging everyone to watch ever since I started myself. It's got heart, it's got wit, it's got humor, it's got tension, it's got drama. It just fills all those satisfying boxes that you want when trying to get emotionally invested in a story. And it's just so satisfying to see this little Irish show that could now get a second season. You not only have an excellent cast of sisters, where it tells the story of this broken family that has been ripped apart from one another for one reason or another, and yet they always stick together. So it has this life-affirming message on family, but it also features one of the best villains in television history. And I'm not talking about Claes Bang's Fjolnir in The Northman. John Paul is one of the most despicable, despising, little limp dick, detestable human beings on the planet, and every episode he just manages to make you hate him more and more and more. It is such a riotous murder mystery with dramatic twists and humorous turns, and you feel constantly invested in the story of these sisters because you want that victory from them. You feel like you're a part of this family. I don't know who's gonna die in the second season, but I just cannot wait to spend more time in Ireland with the Garvey sisters. The Offer tells the fascinating story of the making of The Godfather, but it is so much more than that. It genuinely becomes unpredictable to the point, even though we know The Godfather exists, The Godfather 2 exists, you don't really know where this story is going. Where it involves the mafia, it involves studio heads, it involves constant firing and involvement from celebrities of the time. It is truly an immersive time capsule with stellar performances that throughout this year did not get the love they deserved, particularly Matthew Good. He is incredible in this show as the head of Paramount, and the discussions, the arguments, the struggles, the infighting that comes when trying to make this movie. As someone who is passionate about the filmmaking process, who is a filmmaker myself, this is a show that I just ate up every single frame of it. And there's genuine passion behind it. There's genuine tension on screen with the constant story turns that it takes and the story threads that it connects in so many surprising ways. This show manages to add so much compelling context to the time, the culture, and the people behind The Godfather. It truly makes you see the movie and appreciate it in a different way. It's not just the story of The Godfather. It is a key story in the narrative of Hollywood as a town from the 70s to now, and how significant this film is to the trajectory of the studio system. Moon Knight is my number 4. Come on, I had to have one controversial opinion. This is my favorite Marvel show right next to Loki. The two just constantly go back and forth. I adore Steve and Mark's journey of togetherness. This is such a profound character study that understands and respects mental health, where it doesn't treat either of these characters as real or fake. They are both part of a system, while adding that sprinkle at the end with Jake Lockley, the hidden part of the system. It manages to tell this compelling character journey that works on several different levels, with a mesmerizing performance from Oscar Isaac, a ruthless, vicious sense of action and thrills, where it manages to mix in Egyptian mythology and grandiose spectacle while never losing sight of what makes it work. I love the little flashes of the clashing personalities, but I love the gradual coming together of these two people and how they find that each other is necessary. That whole hospital sequence, the entire structure of that episode is fantastic. Adding in a bit of Fight Club, adding in a bit of Indiana Jones, a little bit of Bourne. It was a recipe for success as far as I'm concerned. You have a little bit of discussion on faith and man's relationship to God, the contrast between Mark Spector and Arthur Harrow, one man devoted so much to his cause, he's willing to give his life to a god, and one man that did that, and how much that cost him, how much that took away from him. This is a Marvel show that works on so many levels. It gets better and better and better every time I watch it. The writing is fantastic. The action is superb. And Oscar Isaac is the best get for the MCU we have had, perhaps since Chris Evans as Captain America. Obviously, it helps that they adapted Lemire's run, the greatest Moon Knight stories ever written. The entire structure of the show becomes so challenging and intellectually engaging. It's a superhero story unlike anything the MCU has done before, and the best Marvel show of 2022. And ahead of diving into my top 3, don't forget the fun part, where you share your top 10 TV shows of 2022 in the comments below. There are so many shows constantly on TV. I know I missed a lot this year. I haven't even seen The Sandman, which is written by my favorite author of all time, Neil Gaiman. So if I missed anything you think I will enjoy, please add it in the comments below. Start the conversation, because that's the most important part. And if you're enjoying this list, if you enjoy this type of content, and if you don't want to miss any of the future lists to come in the next few weeks, check them out right up here. I ranked so much this year, and I'm going to continue ranking it in the next few weeks. And into 2023, there's also already one list up for the comic book movies of 2022 ranked, and you can find it right up here. So if you want to see all those lists, if you want to talk more movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button down there, and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Number 3, The Boys Season 3. This show has just never been better. It fires on all cylinders. Character, story, action, critique, and commentary. This season, more than any other, held up a mirror to current events of the world to staggering degrees. It is astounding how history keeps mirroring the events of The Boys, where it manages to deliver the best villain in television with Homelander. Anthony Starr's incredible performance is something to behold, where they managed to craft this character that is so much scarier when he's happy than when he's angry. He was already scary when he's angry, when he's about to lose control, but it just feels like this character is emotionally and mentally about to lose all stability. He's balancing himself on this tightrope that at any moment could snap, could take him down. And that's the tension you live through this entire season. Not only that, the dissension on The Boys just creates great conflict. It brings us back to that conversation of broken family and the infighting of it when there's already so many dangers from the outside world targeting them. This season was honestly a frightening watch, because so much of what this show is critiquing and parodying even is actually happening in our world. And that is honestly really scary. The Boys continues to outdo itself, so I cannot wait to see what they deliver in season 4. Our runner-up is Andor, a show that truly feels like a savior for the Star Wars franchise in 2022, with Boba Fett feeling unnecessary and pointless, and Obi-Wan falling tragically short of expectations. Tony Gilroy crafts a sublime, tension-filled slow burn of a spy thriller that truly understands Lucas's original material, the themes and the messages. He injects real nuance into the idea of rebellion, where we see it's not just heroes and good guys. It's dirty, it's grimy, it takes sacrifice, and sometimes at any cost, where Cassian goes through this journey of testing his own morality and going from a survivor out to fend for himself to someone who believes in a bigger cause other than himself. It also makes the Empire frightening again. These are not the stormtroopers that miss every single shot. These are not the Imperial officers that sit down and let Vader do the job. These are fascists who torture and, like the rebellion, do whatever means necessary to stabilize that order that they so believe in. It truly dives deep into the thematics that Lucas wanted to bring to life with the original trilogy, and it does it so successfully. This is a Star Wars show we have been waiting for. The tense narrative, the rich characters, the compelling themes, and the complicated politicking and emotions that come with it. You could say it is a new hope for the franchise. At number 1, House of the Dragon. Easily the grandest show in scope on this list, but at the same time, the one that feels most intimate. A family drama character study on grief, where its ever-changing cast gives flawless performances, and it constantly manages to give you rich, nuanced characters and paint everyone in a morally ambiguous shade of gray. The characters constantly keep on surprising us for good and for bad. And every time you just feel like you get to know someone, they find new layers to add to these rich characters and to the interpersonal dynamics that make it all so engaging and, to a sense, unpredictable to watch. Obviously, I haven't read the book, so that helps in the unpredictability with this world again. Obviously, from a visual standpoint, it's big, it's lavish, it brings you back to the world of Westeros, and it completely immerses you in this somber tone where you really feel the gravity of just having this family infighting and how that affects the wider world around them. From the very beginning of the season, you feel the weight of stakes and consequences. And these characters, the relationships are so well defined. Every choice feels like it matters. Every choice feels weighty. And so the reactions that come with that, the chain of reactions that it unleashes from episode to episode feels earned, and you're constantly getting this sense of gratification where you have setups and payoffs, and they keep getting bigger and smaller, and they vary in size, and it just never gets too slow for its own good. It always makes you feel like it's worth emotionally investing in this journey across generations of Targaryen, where there's this constant civil war, but the characters constantly feel real. It's such a rich show that it works on so many levels. It works as a fantasy show, it works as a political show, it works as a character study, as a family drama. It is a show that gives you spectacle and blood and nudity and dragons, but at its core, what makes this narrative rewarding to watch, what makes it worth that emotional investment, it's its constant care for the nuance and the richness of the characters. That despite living in this medieval fantasy world, it all feels grounded and relatable because the writing is absolutely sublime. And that is why House of the Dragon comes in at number 1. That is my top 10 best TV shows of 2022. I cannot wait to see your rankings in the comments below. Maybe I'll find a hidden gem that I completely missed throughout this year, and hopefully I gave you some hidden gems for you to watch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you enjoy the upcoming lists throughout the next few weeks, and big thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll see you very soon, so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.